the benefits that come are tremendous job growth. I think what we do here is embrace the intellectual capacity, and when you get someone from the worldwide network on semiconductors and nanotechnology to point to this district, to the 21st Congressional District in the Greater Capital Region of New York, as the premier example of how to invest, that tells us we're onto something good. You know, the whole College of Nanoscience and Engineering is just a great example of how we can transition our economy, not only provide new choices in energy areas, but impact all walks of life with an insertion of nanotechnology and nanothinking. And what we've developed, I think, is a world-class center for space and for testing equipment. State-of-the-art testing equipment, prime space available. That's a wonderful double-edged benefit that is then utilized, should be utilized. I told the President that here's a great investment where we can bring in tenants that will then go into the prototyping and the testing and the evaluating of these new concepts and then deploy them into manufacturing and into practical use. So I think what is being held as great hope here is that it creates solutions to our social and economic needs, it creates job growth, and it helps us to recover in our regional economy, our state economy, and our national economy. So I think there's great opportunity here, and we just need to respond to the challenges. If we look back 40 years ago, if we didn't respond to the request of President Kennedy to a global race on space, we wouldn't have been in the position to influence technology over the last 4 decades. We now have a chance to, again, determine our destiny by committing to a global race on clean energy and green thinking. And it's very much a repeat of history, and we'll see how America responds. But I think policymakers today have to put together the sort of clever strategy and set the tone. Setting the tone is as important as developing the policy, and letting people know that we're going to accomplish here, we're going to get it done, and we're going to embrace it with a spirit of optimism. I think that people need to understand the sense of urgency related to this issue. There is, in this global setting, an aggressive investment by so many nations in a clean energy innovation economy, and we are going to fall further behind in the race, in the global clean energy race, if we don't invest appropriately. And so I think a lot of it is expressing the sense of urgency and the relative importance. As we struggle through this recession, which is worldwide in nature, the President advanced and Congress supported a Recovery Act. The Recovery Act is giving us opportunity to take those items that have been backburnered, bring them to the front, and really invest in technology in a way that grows jobs in this painful recovery. We're given the opportunity in all of these crises. There is also opportunity. So now we're given the opportunity to redefine or define our comeback, how we're going to structure our economy. And so the other challenge that we need to get out there is having the foresight, having the laser-sharp focus on just how to invest in job creation as we invest in our energy needs. And I think both of those can be a really strong force in our future economy. Our policy has to be pretty broad so that we include diversity. Nothing could be worse than to rely on a sole source of activity, whether that activity is a renewable or from amongst a number of choices that might come our way. It is good to have diversity. I think it creates the richness in the outcome. And I think you cannot narrowly define how you're approaching the situations. What you need to do is advance reliability and certainty and predictability. If we can do that in our choices, then we're offering market opportunities so that you prime the pump with public dollars and you keep the field wide open and you enable that private sector to find its way to speak to innovation, not only from the supply side, where you can come up with innovation that creates new product lines and new formats for generating power, but also on the demand side, where on that demand side you can create, again, emerging technologies that reduce your demand for power, for energy, that enables us to create very strong outcomes because we're gluttonously dependent on our energy resources in America. We need to reduce that dependency, and we need to grow innovation on the supply side that weans us from dependency on fossil-based fuels that are crippling our economy and wreaking damage on our environment. And so there are a number of dynamics that can be addressed positively by putting together the sort of broad range policy that enables choices to be made on market flow and market conditions, but giving all options a chance in the process.